Alright guys, this is part 2 of the antibiotic, delirium, and fungal mycotoxins, or demons. Um, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade, but too many places around the world, you talk about voodoo, you talk about this, you talk about all these other things that, negative energy and all that stuff, and all kinds of different names for it. But when you talk about demons, which is negative energy and all kinds of things, where people look like they're possessed, well, you can come across people that seemingly are very normal, and all of a sudden, they've got a massive fungal overload. And everybody knows here, from mushrooms to acid to all the other fungal mycotoxins, 300 of which plus are pathogenic. That's all in the literature. It's easy to find. That it can turn a person totally upside down, and I'm talking physically going from somewhat healthy to seemingly out of this world, out of the just not right, and dangerously not right. I've seen it. It's happening again to people, a person that we love dearly, and it happened right after a dose of antibiotics that were powerful but shouldn't have been done because she didn't have a bacterial infection. Antibiotics, as we all know, are worthless when it comes to virus, and it's worthless when it comes to fungal disease. They're great for bacteria, but keep in mind, as usual, they kill all bacteria, good and bad. So, antibiotic means anti-life. They are lifesavers. I'm not saying anything different from that, but they're totally abused. Doctors have abused them for decades and decades. They'll just throw it at a person, whether they know whether it's a virus, fungal infection, or a bacterial infection. And now CDC has said from some years, if you don't know what the cause is, basically think about fungus. Doug Kaufman's been saying that for 40 years. Again, fungal mycotoxins are extremely powerful. That's what alcohol is. That's a fungal mycotoxin. It comes from yeast. It puts out its toxins, and there you have alcohol. And they call it spirits. So, you can say whatever you want as far as the demons and stuff like that, people becoming all of a sudden they're possessed and whatnot. Well, when you start you get a load of that stuff when your body is already feeble and already weak and you're already sick, and all of a sudden you got a ton of these fungal mycotoxins. Just imagine if you did a bunch of shrooms and you're not used to it, or you did a bunch of acid and you're not used to it, and all the other drugs that have a fungal derivative. You crazy strength, all kinds of things that you would just not imagine, including foaming in the mouth and all kinds of stuff. Fungal mycotoxins do that, and they've been doing that for thousands of years. Think about the as I said in the other note, think about the Salem witch hunting. Think about all the witch hunts that happened in Europe. Come to find out that these people that were supposedly witches and possessed were getting ergot, which is a fungal mycotoxin, a very powerful one, from the rye. So when they were removed from that area, and that rye in that area of the ergot, which is a very powerful mycotoxin, what do you know? They weren't witches anymore. So all the people suffer because of ignorance, like usually happens. So when you talk about possessions in different countries around the world and demon possessions, just think of what can happen after a couple week dose of antibiotics to a person's mind. All of a sudden, they're somewhat normal, and all of a sudden, they don't know who you are. That's what antibiotics can do. That's what fungal mycotoxins can do. And our food is laden with it. Everything from wheat to corn to soy to sugar. And again, alcohol, antibiotics are define fungal mycotoxins. So be careful. Like I said, that's the idea, and when you, at least now, you can do all the research you want. I'm not going to do it for you. I'm leading your way and trying to give you an idea. You do the research. I've done it all. I don't want to do everybody else's work for them. I'm not getting paid for it, and I'm not making any money on it, so you go ahead and do that. But I guarantee you, if this were happen to somebody, a loved one close to me that I could help them, I would be alkalizing them like crazy and giving them all the probiotics I could possibly give them to overcome that onslaught of fungal mycotoxins. It's a great place to start, and considering all the places now around the world that are using siloed rice and stuff like that are getting moldy, and they ain't going to throw that rice out, especially with all the famines that's coming in China and different areas of the world. That rice will start to mold, and people will use that rice, and that is the same thing. You have all kinds of problems that, what do you know, you got all kinds of people that are now possessed. So, be careful with the words demons. Start educating yourself on fungal mycotoxins and the history of that and what that can do. And for you Christians out there, remember Leviticus. It says right in there, if your home is full of mold, if you can't get it out, you get out of the home. You destroy it. Because that's how much damage they've known that could do for at least 2,000 years. But the history of that is far, far, far further than that. So anyway, there are things that can be done. Highly alkalize your body, baking soda, very alkalizing food. Forget the acid and the processed stuff, and try to get that turned around. What do you got to lose? You got to eat. So you might as well put in the things that God nature intended, and get the healthy, natural stuff that's in there, and try to fight all that mega fungal mycotoxin onslaught. Okay? All right. Thank you guys. See ya.